Hi, grade 5/6s. So today, as part of our poetry creation assignment, you are going to be making what we call blackout poetry. So there are two ways that you can do this assignment. And one of those is using a piece of paper from home that has text on it. For example, a page from a book or a magazine that someone is no longer using, you can use that. Or you can do it online. And I will go into more detail about how you can complete the assignment and how you can submit it to me in the classroom. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about blackout poetry and what that means and what it might look like for you. So what is blackout poetry? It's using basically the same words on a page and just kind of changing the look of the page around so that the words can be kind of understood in a different way. And what I mean by changing the page is that basically what you would do is you would take a page of text and you would read the words carefully on that page, circle words that you like, and then with a dark marker or a black marker, uh, cross out the words or sentences that you don't want to be visible to the reader. So that's how blackout poetry is created. It uses that page to create a new poem, and it's up to the poet, which in this case is you, to give the words new meaning so that they can be understood in a different way. So this can be done really basic, where you just circle the words you want and then black out with a marker the words that you don't want the reader to see, or you can actually turn it into an art piece that has to do with the poem you're trying to create. So I'm going to show you some examples of both of those. So over here on the right, we see that a person has created blackout poetry using just a paragraph from a text, whether it be a book or a magazine. They've circled the words that they wanted to keep, and then as you notice, they've taken a black or dark marker and they've eliminated the rest of the words so that only the words they've circled are visible to the reader. Over here on the left, you see that this person did the same thing, except they turned theirs into a picture. So they used different colored markers in order to cross out the words they didn't want, and they created an image that had to do with the poem from the words they had left. So on your left, you see again a really basic example of blackout poetry, and it says work, but I think of it as play. Kind of a cool sort of little poem that they made up. And to your right, you see that they've done the same thing. They've done blackout, except they have not really used a black marker. They've actually used colorful markers and then just kind of made boxes around the words they want to keep with a black marker. You can do it that way as well. As long as you kind of show either by making a box around the words and coloring the rest of the text, whether it be like making it into a drawing or just blacking it out, you just indicate which words you want read by the reader. And the other thing I've asked is that you make sure that your pictures have to do with the poem in some way that you're trying to create using those words that you've left visible. Here's another example. This is just a really cool picture. I wish I was this artistic, but I'm definitely not. So there's another great example of some blackout poetry that's been turned into an art piece. Same here, you'll see that the person circled and sort of shaded around the words they wanted to be read with a blue marker, and then they drew an image at the bottom. That's another example of blackout poetry. So how do you create blackout poetry? So like I said before, you can do this two ways. One way is that you can do this at home with a page from a book or magazine that someone is not using and follow the steps that I'm going to go through. Another way is that you can actually do this virtually online, and I will show you how that looks as well. So if you are doing this with a page at home, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to scan the page and you're going to lightly circle the words that stand out to you. Make sure you read over the poem in its entirety. That means read over the whole poem. And that poem is the words that you've chosen to circle. During this time, you want to circle additional words that would help it to make more sense, or cross out words that, now that you've read the whole thing, you realize you don't actually need. Read over your circled words, move them around to create phrases or lines for your poem. I also told people that they could, if they wanted to, they could actually take the words, cut them out, and paste them to a new piece of paper if they really didn't like the order of their words. That's completely up to you. These words also don't have to be in complete sentences. If you're stuck, take a break and go kind of leave it and then come back to it if you need to. I also told people that they could insert words if they had to in order for it to make more sense. Try to do this as little as possible. But for example, if you wanted to use the word "I," but you couldn't find it on the text, you are allowed to insert that in and then just create a box around it. But try to mostly use the words from the text you're working with. When you're done, you want to create a design, or you just want to black out the other words around the words you're keeping so that the reader knows what the poem is supposed to say. So those are the steps you want to follow if you are going to be doing this with a page from home. Now, we will follow some of those steps when we do it virtually, but I'm going to show you what it looks like if you want to do it online and how to submit it into the classroom. So you will go to this website, blackoutpoetry.glitch.me, and if you type that into your URL browser, you will come directly to this page. So as you can tell on the left, they have some sample texts that you can use. And these are Alice in Wonderland, Pride and Prejudice, which is by Jane Austen, or Heart of Darkness, which is a poem. So today I'm going to be using a piece from Alice in Wonderland to make my poem. So in order to select words to keep, all you're going to do is you're going to find a word you like and you are going to click on it. So I've decided to keep the word suddenly for my poem. And I'll click some other words that I'm going to select as well for this. You'll notice that once I click on a word, there is a box around it. This is the computer telling me that this is one of the words I've selected to keep. So I'm going to select some other words that I think might be good for my poem. Okay. So these are the words that I've chosen for my my blackout poem. So once I've selected all the words that I think I'm going to want to use, I'm going to scroll down on my page. And you will see a button at the bottom that says Blackout, and you will click that button. So now that I've clicked that button, you can see that I have actually created my own blackout poetry. If I read this and I decide, I don't really like this very much, I can just reset and then I get my text back as it was. Now, this text is long, so you don't have to use just this part. You can scroll through to any part of the text and use any part of the text that you want. It's up to you. I'm just showing you the one at the top for an example. So I'm going to re-click my words and then I'm going to show you what you do when you're done. Okay. So now that I have my poem done, what I will do is I will scroll down and I have a little rectangular box here that says, if you're happy, click the button below to turn your text into an image, and I am going to click render square. So there's my image, and all you do in order to submit it to the classroom is you right click and you copy the image. And then you will go to the assignment and you just have to paste that picture into a Google Doc, and that is it. That is your Blackout poem, and then just submit the doc to me in the classroom. If you're doing this at home, take a picture, send it to me through Gmail. Whatever works easier for you to get it to me, that's fine. I don't care. Just let me know in a message that you've sent it to me so that I know. So that's the poetry creation assignment for today. If you have any questions, you can message me in the classroom, send me a Gmail, comment on the assignment, and good luck and have fun. See you guys later.